Tell us your mentality, man, about playing offensive tackle. I mean, you have the potential, just to be absolutely elite.
Damn, go ahead and share your thoughts on the thesis.
Yeah, baby. That's what we do. We are the Buckeyes. What up, Buckeye Nation? What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk college football with real fans. Good to see you again. Excited to see you again. Sorry, guys, got to change. I don't know if you saw in the chat or not. Kellen Weimer, 2027 offensive lineman, was scheduled to come on the show. Confirmed it with him yesterday, but high school kids and their scheduling sometimes gets a little chaotic, so we will work on rescheduling that. But I did tell you, an old friend, Melo, was going to be joining the show, an original Buckeye boy going to be joining, talking some football. So we'll dive into that here in a minute. But before we do that, guys, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. And super chats are up and running. If you guys want to, that would be great. It all goes towards good causes here on the Buckeye Boys channel. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, Melo. What's good, dude?
What's up, brother? How you been?
Oh, good, man. Just chilling, trying to make it through this off season that crept up. It creeps up faster. And the more you dive into, and when we first started this channel, it's like, dude, time flies. When you're in it, researching every day, film every day, talking, YouTubing every day, it just seems like the season flies by, recruiting classes fly by, everything just flies by. And, dude, it's almost spring ball. You know what I'm saying?
Know,
it's
right?
getting to that point, man. So it's wild. But what about you? Anything new and exciting in your life? Just working your tail off?
Yeah.
How's the daughter? What's going on, bro?
Daughter's running track. She tweaked her hamstring. I told her, look, if your hamstring is not good to go next week, you're not running track. You can't go to college injured. So her coaches have been getting called up to NWSL to help with the San Diego Waves, to help with the U.S. national team. They're about to go to I think they're going to Turkey. They're going somewhere overseas, and one of her coaches is going to be helping them, the U16 national team. So she's in good company, just getting ready for that. And then with work's been going well. I did have a little change of plans. They offered me a job. I couldn't turn it down. I'm going to Europe for pretty much the rest of 2026. So I'll be in Spain, Portugal, Italy. I'm going to Germany in about 2 weeks, and then London, and then we're going to Turkey, obviously. So, it's going to be a good year. I'm thinking about figuring out a way I could hop on once a week or something from a different site while I'm over there, and finding Buckeye fans so they can give their opinion on what's going on with the team and everything.
Bro, that would be elite. I am jealous as all get out. That's on my bucket list. One of these days, Devin's going to retire and travel around the different countries, like all the countries you said. You're sitting here listening that you're going there. I know it's for work, but still, dude, yeah. I want to experience different cultures, different all that stuff. But that would be elite. If you get a Buckeye fan on the show from Turkey, you'd be goated. You know what I mean? There ain't no YouTube channel having, a fan from Turkey come on and talk some Buckeye football. That'd be pretty sick. But anyway, man, I want to go in a little bit of a time machine. I'm sorry, Buckeye fans. I know we don't want to relive these things, but we got to get Melo warmed back up to this YouTube life. So I'm going to start with this, right? This year, let's go back. Julian Sayin, first-time starter. Brian Hartline, offensive coordinator. Before the season, we all had our assumptions of how the season would go. About the middle of the season, we see that this defense is something special, something very, very special. And all of a sudden, right, our expectations of this team and of Julian Sayin changed. He got invited to the Heisman ceremony. We're like, hey, man, this is a national title team. We're going to win the Big Ten. We're going to win a national title. Get to the Big Ten game. Of course, my favorite player of all time, Jaden Fielding, misses a field goal. The Miami game, of course, my favorite player of all time, missed a field goal. But it's not all his fault. I shouldn't even went there. I did a show yesterday and really got into it. Shouldn't. But your take, man. Here's the question, and this is a tricky question. Was the season a letdown?
So, I've been pondering that question for quite a bit. And beating the team up north the way we did, it can't be complete failure, like in their house, payback, and then to watch them guard their logo while we sat there giving them the bird, like nothing better than that. I'm going to be honest with you. That was amazing. Do I think 5 years from now, we're going to be like, man, how did that team not win a natty? Absolutely. Just like the 2015 team. We're going to see these guys crushing it in the pros, all these future Pro Bowlers and Hall of Famers, and everyone's going to be like, how did that Ohio State team not go back-to-back? But right now in the moment, even when they lost, I was a little disappointed, but I really wasn't as upset as I thought I would be, mainly because we righted it wrong.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That Michigan win obviously felt absolutely beautiful, and it does ease that pain a little bit. In order for me to consider it not a failure, I really have to go back and put myself in my mindset before the season started. Hey, Julian Sayin's first time starting, he's going to have those games. Those games just happen to come in the two biggest games of the season. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of what happened. We could dive into who, what, when, where, and why. But the fact is that we lost those games. And both the teams we lost to played in the national title game. One of them was the national champ. And, dude, I mean, we should have walked away with the dub on that one. For sure. You know what I mean? I was at the Miami game. A little bit less of us should have walked away with the dub on that one. Miami played well. Defensive line dominated us. But, I see who just put this in here. Mike Green said, somewhat a failure, and it's just, I think this draft coming up as well, if you pay attention to this draft and watch where some of these Buckeye defenders are going to go in the draft. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and Instagram being like, bro, we're going to have like 3, maybe 4 top 15, top 20 picks, 5 first-round draft picks just on, 4 on defense alone, and you don't get a national title. That perspective of it, goes to show. But there's positive in that as well. Look at all the players that overturned on the defense. Look how many players went to the NFL last year, got a brand new defensive coordinator, and Ryan Day still puts us in a position to where we are sitting here saying, yes, we could have won a national title this year. It was a letdown, but the fact that we're able to say it was almost a failure, it is kind of a failure with this team, all the new players, new quarterback, new defensive coordinator, and Brian Hartline running our offense, is in a weird way, like kind of spectacular. Mm-hmm. Kind of amazing coaching job by Ryan Day. Give us your take on that.
I do think that they did a good job for the most part. There's a few things I probably would have changed. Hindsight is 2020. For instance, the slow pace. It probably didn't really help us or favor us at all. We could have sped it up some more, got the starters out, got more of the freshmen and the younger guys in, and I wonder how much that would have affected how many guys we lost to the portal, even though I think most of it was financial reasons, that they were just getting offered so much money, and Ohio State was like, it doesn't make sense, on our part to match that dollar for dollar. So that's one thing I probably would have changed a little bit. Bo Jackson, I think it was kind of obvious early that Bo Jackson was the best running back on the roster. He had a little bit of fumbling issue, and Ryan Day with the fumbles. So I could see why it took so long to get him going, but not having 2 elite backs like we did with Judkins and Trey, I think definitely hurt a little bit. But, for me, I know people think Julian played bad in the Indiana game, the Big Ten championship. I thought he played fairly well. He outplayed the opposing quarterback. I think he just had one bad game in the season. That was in the Cotton Bowl. But other than that, man, I'm ecstatic about what's coming up this season. I'm ecstatic for Julian and his growth. And hopefully Ryan Day will let him just escape out the pocket, because he could throw dimes on the run. He's pretty accurate while he's moving outside the pocket. So I thought we were going to see a little bit more of that against Miami, moving the pocket a little bit more. But it is what it is. Hopefully Ryan Day learned from it, and I'm glad we got an OC.
Yeah, no doubt. There was a little bit of a scufflebutt between Ohio State fans when the season ended, and believe it or not, this dumbfounded me. But there were people saying they wanted Ryan Day to go in and get a different quarterback. They don't think Julian Sayin can get the job done. It was legit. There was a big push from several people on message boards, Twitter, all that. I didn't believe it at first. B. Moses talked about it. He showed me the comments. I saw the comments, and I'm like, dude, there's really a faction of this fan base that doesn't think Julian Sayin is our quarterback. One of the youngest Heisman finalists in forever, broke the completion percentage record. You watch the Wisconsin, you watch the Washington game. Clearly the dude's mobile, right? Do some little inside information. Julian Sayin was going through something, really hard during those two games. But what's your take on that? Should Ryan Day win and got a more mobile quarterback? Does Julian Sayin our dude?
I think people need to chill out. First off, the mobile quarterback is his backup. Tavian St. Clair is going to be a monster. It's not his time yet.
Yeah.
It's Julian Sayin's time. And remember, he was the number one dual threat quarterback coming out of high school in his class. It's just, we all know Ryan Day doesn't want his quarterbacks running. He did it with Stroud. Yeah. He did it with everybody. After Justin Fields got his ribs cracked against Clemson, he was scared to let the quarterbacks to run as much. And you see CJ Stroud, he's extending pockets in the NFL all day. Julian can do the same thing. We've seen him scramble. We've seen him throw. Do we want him running up the field all day? No, of course not. But just to extend the pocket, extend the play, and allow your lethal wide receivers a little extra time to get open, yes, I do see that happening. And for anyone that thinks Julian Sayin should be benched, you're out of your mind, period. You need to get drug tested. I mean, he literally broke, like Dev said, he literally broke the all-time completion percentage in history. And college football has been around a long time, last time I checked. So, I mean, to do that your first season is beyond ridiculous.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. Go watch his high school film. He's mobile. He can get that. He can get that done. And we'll see if Ryan Day adjusts to that, because clearly it's needed. Definitely in the red zone. Allow Julian Sayin to do what Julian Sayin can do. He can definitely do it, but Julian Sayin's the dude. Julian Sayin can definitely win us a national title. Before I get into the next thing I want to talk about, which I got to write down real fast so I don't forget. You brought up drug tests. I don't know. You didn't catch the last show, but the last show I showed a video of allegedly Michigan players hotboxing inside of the Michigan locker room this year.
Sounds about right.
I just say that. I didn't know if you knew that's what I did the show on or not.
No, I didn't know that, man. I wonder if that was during halftime of the game, because I heard their coach was doing some crazy stuff during halftime of the game. You know what? I'm really upset that they fired him. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I know.
I think Michigan is gonna be on a good path now that they got rid of him, and I'm extremely upset about it.
I know. There's something like. There's a little bit of joy in it, knowing that, it's kind of like, dude, what have they been waiting on? He doesn't deserve to be the coach there. But then there is that other side, like you talked about. Definitely rather have Sharon Moore coaching this team than Kyle Whittingham. There's a huge gap there for sure. But on that Julian Sayin topic, another topic that got brought up, obviously, you watched the Indiana game and Miami game, the offensive line struggled. But we know several things go into the offensive line. It's not just, hey, is your right guard good? Is your left guard good? Is this tackle a tackle? Is he not? It's way more than that. It's scheme. It's play calling. It's your snap count. There's all type of factors that go into it. And I lean more towards, hey, Brian Hartline just had zero clue to scheme up this offense, right, according to help this offensive line. Yes, I know Ryan Day called plays at the end of the season, but that's a tough transition to make for any coach. Allow somebody to take over play calling the last two games. Your offensive coordinator leaves in the middle of getting ready for playoffs. There's a lot going on this team. But the Buckeyes did not go in the portal and pick up an offensive lineman. They picked up a backup guy, not going to be expected to start. But, dude, that had Buckeye fans in an uproar, in an absolute uproar. We know Tegra left in the portal, but Josh Padilla and Ian Moore did better in the Miami game than Tegra and Austin Sierreveld were doing at the time. So those two dudes are still on the roster. All of our starting offensive line are still returning, minus Tegra. To me, you got 7, 8, maybe 9 guys in rotation this year. I'm absolutely fine with not going in the portal and get offensive linemen. I think you can go get the best 5 offensive linemen on this team, and we'll be able to win a national title. 3 of them did it the year before last. 3 of those guys won us a national title. So give us your take, man. You think this offensive line coming in this year, it's looking like, you can have Ian Moore at left tackle, Luke Montgomery at left guard, Carson Hinsman at center, and then put Austin Sierreveld at right guard. Solves that, which will in turn make Phillip Daniels better at right tackle. And you still have Josh Padilla, Gabe Van Sickle, Carter Lowe, Sam Greer coming in. I think we're fine. What's your take?
Man, a lot of offensive line is chemistry. I'll be honest. At the end of the season, I was a little disappointed with the offensive line. I was a little concerned with the run blocking throughout the season, but a lot of that is, like you said, scheme and what kind of run design plays are they calling. So I thought they were going to win the Joe Moore, if you recall.
Yeah.
So for me, I think we're going to be okay. We have Arthur Smith, who's extremely talented at identifying offensive line talent and making them look better. And we have all these offensive line coaches. So if they thought there was an issue on the O-line, I'm sure they would have made changes without a doubt. You also have to remember what happened before the Big Ten game. We had to play Team Up North. Indiana basically had 2 bye weeks. So they had 2 weeks to prepare for us. Then on top of that, you have the University of South Florida offering Brian Hartline a job that he had to take. You had to keep Chris Henry in the class. You had to fight for Jaquafer Guilford to stay in the class. There was so much that Ryan Day had to deal with. And, of course, he's not going to make excuses for it because he's a professional. But, I mean, that's a lot to deal with before having to go play Indiana and then go play Miami. So there's a lot of factors. I truly, and I don't know how you feel, but I truly feel if Brian Hartline didn't get offered that job, we go undefeated the entire season.
No, I really feel the same way. I kind of had a little bit of an inside track on the effect of Brian Hartline leaving, and it was pretty massive. I mean, you just think about how long Hartline's been around the program, took over offensive coordinator this year, which means he was way more involved with the entire team. And just imagine, dude, some of these guys are like high school kids. They're young kids, essentially, dealing with a coach leaving. They're human beings. There's no way that doesn't distract them, right? That's the game we play now. Like you said, no excuses whatsoever, but it is part of the game, something that they had to overcome. And the wild thing about it to me is we all saw the Indiana game. We know the things that occurred in that game. Like you said, Melo, Julian Sayin really didn't play that bad. Yeah, could have won that game. But the more interesting one is the Miami game. I feel like we played really, 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 really bad in that game. Really bad. Coaches, scheme-wise, everything was very bad in my opinion. And we still were in a position in the second half, came out rolling to win that game. You know what I mean? Like had an opportunity to make a stop and go down and tie the ball game, was unable to do that, even with us as playing as bad as what we did. And I think that goes to show you the talent that, Ryan Day has acquired on this roster, man. It's special, I think. And this year they did the same thing, man. We lost some players that I was hoping the Buckeyes would be able to keep, right? K-Mac, I was hoping they'd be able to keep him. Max Clare, hoping as well. But, man, you losing Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Caden McDonald, Tywan Malone. On the defensive side of the ball, those are the main guys, that were losing. Buckeyes. Yeah, they go in the portal, pick up. Yeah, Iggy. I forgot him. My bad, Iggy. Shout out Iggy. Good. They go in the portal, pick up Earl Little, pick up Terry Moore, the star safety from Duke 2 years ago, the only safety to be graded above Caleb Downs in PFF the year he was played. When picked up James Smith, a very good 3-tech nose tackle from Alabama. Picked up a defensive end, Quay Rasal. Picked up Dominic Kelly, a corner from Georgia who I had on the show. I think the dude's going to be elite. Cam Calhoun as well. Been to 4 different schools, even went to Michigan. Is on our team now. And kept Matt Patricia around. How do you think the Buckeyes did? Expectations for defense this year? You think Matty P is going to keep this unit strong? And where would you rank them by the end of the season? Maybe top 10, top 20? What you thinking, man?
They're going to be top 3. Matty P being here is key to everything. So I know losing Dominic for UGA, the fans are like legit freaking out. The ones that know, they're like, dude, that's a massive loss for us because of how highly thought of he was for that team. So that was a huge pickup. I knew Earls was leaving before he even entered the portal. He's KJ's cousin. So I had a little inside information about that one happening before it happened. And then with the rest, I want to see how Quay does at DN. I want to see Matty P unlock those Alabama guys. And I think it's going to be insane when they do. But you know who I'm most looking forward to? I have 2 guys I'm most looking forward to, but one especially. The 2 guys I'm looking forward to is Devin Sanchez at a full-time starting role. But the one I'm looking forward the most, who I think people are sleeping on, who's going to be considered a top 3 linebacker in the game, is Pettijohn. Riley.
Yeah, Riley.
I'm looking forward to seeing Riley. If people saw his testing numbers, it's ridiculous. The kid is a ridiculous athlete. He's one of the best athletes on the team, period, last year. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to use these guys. And I'm excited. I think our defense is still going to be top 3.
Yeah, I do as well, because it's pretty crazy. I only mentioned the portal guys, and you're starting to bring up these guys in the back. The defensive line, I mean, hopefully Edric Custer could take a step forward. We also got that, I forget the other nose tackle we got from UCF, highly rated guy, played really well. But you got those guys, Will Smith Jr. coming back, who was a better than serviceable backup for K-Mac this year. And you mentioned it. Devin Sanchez is in the fold. Riley Pettyjohn's in the fold. Peyton Pierce, Christian Allegro, the linebacker from Wisconsin, TJ Alfred, right? And then you go in the back for safety. We got Terry Moore. But then the other one is a dude, I don't know if you guys know him or not, Jalen McClain, played as a freshman, started as a sophomore, beside who? Caleb Downs.
Yep.
And I did get a little update today that Jalen McClain is turned it up more notches than they expected him to in a lot of different ways, and people are projecting him to be one of the breakout players this year. Hard to do after losing Caleb Downs, you know what I'm saying? But you got to think about this dude's whole career, Jalen McClain, he's been beside Caleb Downs. You know what I'm saying? There's something to be said in that, and bringing Matt Patricia back as well, which I reported that a month ago, and people are still wondering if he's going to or not. I guess you could never say never. NFL could come in and, offer something big. But, a month ago, Matt Patricia, and at least inside the Woody, everybody expects the dude to return. But, yeah, a lot of young talent bringing back there. Any more thoughts on the defense? We'll hit the offense real quick.
The defense is going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing how my boy Jordan Thomas does. He's highly respected out in Jersey. I got boys that are in Jersey, some that play in the NFL. They even talk him up. And some of these guys don't even like Ohio State. Like one of my friends, he played in the NFL. His brother ran track for the team up north and ran in the Olympics. So he hates us, actually. And he was just saying how good Jordan Thomas is. So I'm looking forward to that. But I had a question for you. It's a little going back to the beginning. But I have a question for you in the chat. So before the playoffs started, Chip Kelly got fired. Do you think that it was wrong for Ryan Day to not hire him back and let him call the plays offensively, since he knew most of these players and won a natty with us the year before? What's your take on that? I want to know your take in the chat's take, because I never got to ask that.
Well, my take has changed since I've heard some little rumblings about why exactly that didn't take place, right? But during the time, I was thinking, here we go. yeah, Chip Kelly's about to come in here and help this out. But, I guess they changed a lot from when Chip left. Things were different. So I think it might have been harder for him to come in. I mean, hindsight, we all know that saying, but obviously now you'd be like, yeah, dude, they need some help bringing Chip in. But so, supposedly, I guess when Chip Kelly was hired, it was a little more than it wasn't a 1-year rental. It was a 2-year agreement between him and Ryan Day, like on a personal, you're my dude type of level. A lot of people reported that, they knew this would happen. Ryan Day's cool with it. He knew it would happen. But then this happened. Chip Kelly's available. Ryan Day doesn't go after him. Now he works for Northwestern, and you got to question, hey, man, I wonder why that happened. And then I hear this, and I'm like, well, that makes sense. Supposedly, Ryan Day was pretty upset at that move. That's the rumor that I heard. I've not been able to confirm that, by the way. So that is strictly just, one of those out in the air rumor talks, at least on my end of it. But it would make sense.
Yeah.
That Chip Kelly comes in. Ohio State likes to sign 3-year deals with coordinators. That's been what they have done. Matt Patricia's on a 3-year deal, but supposedly he worked a 2-year out with Chip. Then he left him kind of high and dry, made Brian Hartline. And supposedly there were some hard feelings there, but
that actually makes sense. I did wonder if that, Chip ends up at Northwestern. I'm like, what's the deal? He was interviewing for Georgia Tech. I'm like, this is crazy, right?
I know. You think that, I don't know. I
think we judge Ryan Day too harshly because Ryan Day keeps a lot of information close to the vest. So you're just seeing the broad scope of things instead of the intricacies of it. And it actually makes sense because if he had a deal with him, and that would be like your best friend. He's known him since he was a child.
Oh, I know.
Since he was a child. He's in his mid-40s. For him to renege on a handshake deal with someone that looked up to you like almost a father figure, that could be a stab in the back. You could take it that way. That could almost ruin their friendship, to be honest with you. I hope it doesn't.
Yeah. I'd be curious to how much of that, is that all true? You know what I mean? How much of that is true? But again, that's the only thing that really makes sense to me. I mean, you won a national title with the dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And the offense was humming. And we have a better quarterback this year.
I know. So it is a confusing question at the time, and that seems like a logical answer, but who knows? But, either way, we already talked about it. Julian Sayin's coming back. Offensive line's coming back. We lost Quincy Porter. We lost Mylan Graham, but still got J.J. Smith, Chris Henry Jr. coming in, Jaquaden Guilford. Went and got Kyle Parker, Devin McQuinn, who runs a 10-3 100-meter dash. A lot of people expecting Chris Henry Jr. to come in here and make an impact as a freshman. How big that impact is debatable. I think it's more of a Carnell Tate freshman season versus a JJ. I think he's closer to that than he is a JJ freshman season. Some people expect a JJ freshman season. Would have got a 7th-year tight end, another tight end from Ohio University. And then my sleeper on the offensive side of the ball is Jacoby Jackson, because I've spoke to a coach here in Florida who told me as much. He told me that the dude is severely underrated going into the portal, and you might want to keep an eye on him. I think I'm on an island on that one in Buckeye Nation, rightfully so, because I said the same thing about C.J. Donaldson and was dead wrong. Couldn't have been more wrong about him. I guess I could have been. He wasn't horrible.
He wasn't that bad. He had a lot of touchdowns in the red zone.
Yeah. It wasn't horrible.
Right.
But I thought he was going to be way better, and I'm not going to hide behind that. But I think Jacoby Jackson has the opportunity. But anyway, I guess that's a lot to dive into. Dive into the offense and maybe a little bit of thoughts. Chris Henry, man, what type of freshman season is he possibly going to have?
I kind of feel like it's going to be an in-between a JJ and a Tate. Closer towards the Tate side, because JJ only comes around once every 25 years. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
JJ doesn't come around every year. Otherwise, people would be going after them hard. So I would think he's a little bit in between them. But I think he's going to be a massive, massive advantage in the red zone. Jump balls all day. He's super long, super tall, has super athleticism, and can jump pretty high. So I think that's where you're going to see the biggest effect from him. Honestly, I want to see how Coach Mick's going to get him ready for the physicality in the Big Ten in terms of DBs pressing, man press, and all that. Seeing how he could get off because he is a little lanky, he's a little tall. So I like to see how he puts on muscle mass. What about you?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think he's going to have an impact. I think he's going to play. Ryan Day told him as much. It's one of the reasons he came here. He wants to play as a freshman. Ryan Day told him, you're going to play across from JJ as a freshman. So I expect that word to be kept as long as Chris Henry lives up to his bargain. And I think the dude will. I think he's locked in, kept his word, stayed committed to the Buckeyes. Dude's locked in and serious about his craft, and that's being a wide receiver. So with bringing Arthur Smith in, we watched this year, the slow pace. I was dead wrong about that. I kept boosting Ryan Day up, saying he was playing checkers, everybody else playing chess. He's giving us a whole other bye week, and during the playoffs, we're going to turn the heat up. Never happened. I guess that's just what he wants to do moving forward. I hope we utilize the athleticism that we have on this roster a little bit better. I don't think the slow pace really utilizes the athleticism that we have the correct way. That's just my opinion. But dude, when I was watching, I know I'm kind of going everywhere right now, but when I was watching the Indiana game, one of the things that was infuriating me the whole time was the silent snap. Because I kept watching Indiana jump our snaps so many times. It's so, once you do it in the first quarter and you never change it, they can defensive linemen time that up and they can jump it the whole time. Well, I was at the Miami game. They did the same thing. They did the silent snap. Luke would tap Carson's thing and they would go 1,000, 2, snap the ball. And it's every time Miami's D-line was jumping the gun and just absolutely cracking us. And it wasn't even that loud in there. You didn't even need to do it. I don't know why I'm going on this tangent again, but I am going on it again. That was one of the things this year that was super confusing to me. So I think bringing in somebody like Arthur Smith, who is very well known for being a good offensive coordinator, what he did at the Steelers, he deserves a lot more credit for than what people are giving him, especially offensive line stuff, and what he did with Rodgers and ranked the 32nd team in the NFL for money spent on the offensive side of the ball, and he takes them to the playoffs. I think having a grown-up in the room with Ryan Day will help sort those kind of details out when there's like, as a fan, when you're pointing out obvious things on the field, it's like, come on, man. Like, dude, just, change the count. Change the silent count one time and get a free offsides. It's going to happen. Indiana did it. Guess what? They got an offsides. Indiana did it on accident. They still did it, and it worked the very first time. So I do like the moves. More importantly, I love Arthur Smith coming in. I love the young talent that we have on this roster. Bo and Isaiah being out for spring because of their shoulder injuries really makes me question the running back position. Are they going to be ready? But you got Turbo Rogers there, who was the number 4 running back in his class that people seem to forget about somehow. Jacoby Jackson coming in. And then, Melo, I don't know if you know much about the freshman Legend Bay. You know much about him?
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see, if they use him. Arthur Smith is excited about Legend Bay. I'll just put it like that. That's what
Shout out to the Pettijohn family, because people don't realize how massive they were in that recruitment. They were a huge aspect for reason he came to Ohio State, whether you know it or not. But yeah, Legend Day is going to be awesome. The reason I'm not as concerned, we already know what we're getting with Bo. Bo is a special running back. He's going to come ready to play. I'm a little concerned for Isaiah West. It's going to be his second offseason that he's missed. And then he was also came into the season and last season injured as well. So I'm concerned about him. But for everybody else, I think it's great. They're going to get more reps at practice, more snap counts. They're going to be expected to do more. I think their growth is going to be exponential as opposed to if Bo was here taking a lot of snaps, right? So I don't think that's going to hurt us as much. For me, I think in terms of running back room, it can only go up from last season. I'm sorry, they weren't horrible, but compared to what we were used to seeing the past few years, it was a little subpar. So I'm expecting to see more. I think a lot of that also does come with the blocking scheme as well. So if your O-line isn't run blocking that well, it's hard for the running backs. Like you need to at least have that first level, let them get to the second level, and then it's on the running back to make something happen. But a lot of times they're getting hit in the backfield.
Yeah. One part of that Miami game that kind of crept past me for a minute was the fact that Bo Jackson ran for 4.8 yards per carry, and our running game was working beautifully in the second half. We went away from it for some odd reason. I do not know why, but we did. But the reason our rushing numbers look so bad is the sacks that were taken in that game really hurt us there. I love the Miami fans in the chat. Man, they had their first year of success, and they are in here loving it, man. Congratulations to y'all.
They didn't win anything, though.
I know.
You got a consolation prize. So are we giving out participation trophies now? That's what you're rooting for? When's the last time I won a natty? I don't even remember. I think I was in middle school. I'm 40 years old.
Yeah, congratulations to y'all for losing the national title game. Well, good job. Good season, man. Anyway, I lost focus. I had to get that in there because I saw one and then I just watched another one join in. I do appreciate you guys watching. You guys absolutely stomped us into the ground. I was there. You beat our brakes off during the game. There ain't no way around
Namely
that.
The first half. I thought Ryan Day's play calling, and it shows that he hasn't play called in a while because he was rusty that first half. The second half, I felt like he did a great job. If he would have called the entire game in the first half like he did in the second half, I think we beat Miami by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think by at least 4 touchdowns. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah. So the offensive side of the ball, I'm excited. I think the Arthur Smith addition, Cortez Hankton coming in as well. I think this is a year for Tyler Bowen to either make or break his bank account. You know what I mean? Let's see. Yep. Do we have a little bit of questions? I think we do. I think there are some questions there. We have 3 offensive line coaches. There should be 0 missed assignments from these players, and there were several missed assignments throughout the year. So we'll see. He gets an opportunity this year. I'd be a little bit quiet about that considering how bad Justin Fry shoved us both in a locker. But so we'll wait and see with Tyler Bowen and see what he does. But last not least, Melo, I don't know if you heard or not. One of the best offseason moves, man. This is bad. I shouldn't even say it. Don't say it, Devin. I'm going to say it.
I know you're going to say it.
Jaden Fielding ran out of eligibility, which forced Ryan It forced Ryan Day to go into the portal and go pull out Connor Hawkins from Baylor, who hit a winning field goal for Baylor, hit multiple 50-yard pluses. He's a freshman, well-respected in the kicking community. Went and got Dalton Riggs, the best long snapper in the country from USF, Ryan Day said. Went and hired, what's his name, Ruskins or Robbie Disher. I think that's his name, from Illinois, special teams coordinator. Nate Ebner's still here helping with special teams. So it looks like have the potential to have a pretty good special teams kicking game this year. Add Legend Bay in there for kick returns, punt returns.
Electric.
Might have a little something. Let me hear your thoughts on, the loss of Jaden Fielding.
So, hey, everybody, we all got to give tip our hat to Dev right now because clearly Coach Day has been watching the Buckeye boys because Dev, this has been a point of contention for Dev since we started this channel. He's hated Jay Fielding with a passion. He's hated our special teams. He gets on it every single show once a week at a minimum. And now Coach Day took it serious and he's going out there and taking special teams serious. I mean, I think special teams counts for about 18 to 22% of all plays in a game. So it's pretty important, especially when the margins are razor thin. So he's doing the right thing. I would like to give Dev the credit, but I don't know, maybe Garrett Wilson tweeting that it's Ohio State. Why do we not have the best kicker in the world on the team? That might have had something else to do with it, but I'm giving all the credit to Dev because he's been harping on this for a couple of years now.
I hate doing that too. I'm sure Fielding is a great kid. I don't know him. So in fact, I don't know if he is or not, but hey man, the truth's the truth, man. When I got in basketball games and I started missing all my threes. If somebody said, dang, dude, you sucked that game, my response was, yes, I did. That was bad. I sucked. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I was anyway. But yeah, man, got a tough schedule this year for the Buckeyes. Very tough schedule. The hardest schedule in the nation, actually.
Yeah.
Wish we had Penn State's schedule, a freaking cream puff. How do you do that, man? How do we get
know.
one like that? But
I mean, our schedule wasn't hard last year, but like this is ridiculous. I'm gonna be honest with you.
But hold up, though. Was that our fault?
No, I'm not saying it was.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm pointing that out there. Like Texas was preseason number 1, but in other places, Penn State was preseason number 1.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they just suck. But yeah, man. But the good news is Michigan has a really hard schedule too. You know, it's still 12-team playoffs. So Buckeyes at 10-2, they're in the playoffs. I love Julian Sayin. Had that, year of experience under his belt now, along with these running backs. Ryan Day went and getting Arthur Smith. If there was one concern I had in the offseason, it was the obvious one. Let's get this offensive line right. Let's do something. Get this offensive line right. Well, you go out and hire Arthur Smith, who is known for offensive line play and really leaning on those guys, allowing those guys to be aggressive, allowing those guys to be the attackers and play that rugged smash mouth type of football that Ryan Day attempted to play this year in the red zone with the 12 tight ends and 13. Nate Roberts is a poor guy. Nate Roberts is going to be an absolute beast, but throwing a freshman in at fullback and that when every team across the country knew exactly what was about to happen. Anyway, I like and I'm excited about this upcoming season. What say you?
Man, and never take JJ and Tate off the field at the same time. Let's not do that for some tight ends. I'm sorry. Never can happen again. The one thing that I like about Arthur, the biggest thing, besides what you already elaborated on, is the fact that he'll use the same formations, the same motions, and the same concept for whether we're running the ball or passing the ball. And that puts extreme pressure on the defense. And we saw that on our playoff run to the national championship, which Miami hasn't done in a couple of decades, by the way. So I love that aspect. I think we were missing that aspect this previous season. And I think it's going to work wonders, because how are you going to cover our wide receivers? We just need the running game to take a little pressure off of Julian Sayin and the O-line a little bit. And I think we're in a nice position to make another run.
Yeah, that was very well said. Yeah, I mean, dude, do you understand that in the spring, it's going to be Matt Patricia, Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator, NFL head coach, going against Arthur Smith, past NFL head coach, 5 years as an offensive coordinator NFL, going head to head at the college level. And you talked about his motions and the way he does things. Man, in the NFL, the scheme and the motions are way more complex because you got better players. You have to do that. When you bring that scheme down at the college level and you do all those pre-snap motions, it makes the defense have to communicate and have to move. And you're talking about college defenses, man. If they're not elite defenses, I believe Arthur Smith's going to have their heads spinning just a little bit. Of course, we're talking about all the positive aspects of this, and that's the way I'm leaning with it. I think a lot of these moves in the offseason were good. Considering Ohio State plays by the rules, they ended with the number 3 overall class recruiting and portal together. Actually, it was number 2 overall class. One site has our recruiting classes in number 3. And I'm sure you remember the time when everybody was complaining about our recruiting. But either way,
Buckeyes, you remember what we said? That's what I was going to bring up. August.
Yes.
Remember we said we're going to flip some people late, and that the recruiting class, we're going to still be top 5. That's what we expect when we were outside the top 10 at the time, and everyone was freaking out. My question to you, Dev, and especially I haven't been around a while, and you're still doing interviews with high school recruits. I want you to ask them and get the feel about playing, because now we're going to have 2 NFL coordinators on offense and on defense. Just ask them how does that play into their decision making and choosing Ohio State, knowing that they're going to get coached up to an NFL level? So by the time they go to NFL, they already know these NFL concepts. Does that play a factor in them choosing Ohio State? Because we know we're not going to give them the top dollar coming out of high school. So I wonder, what's your feelings about that? And can you please ask them that if you haven't already done that?
Yeah, I definitely will. That's a great question to ask. I mean, that definitely has to be a bigger factor when it comes to it. But unfortunately, it's not a factor that's going to get the kids that want the most NIL anyway.
Of course, right.
You know what I'm saying? So you'll probably be able to get more kids that don't want the highest nil number, but other teams are in their recruitment and they're not leaning towards Ohio State. They'll end up picking Ohio State because of the NFL coaches we have. It has to be. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, I know the defensive side of the ball, Matt Patricia being here, we got some portal players because of that. We got some, some of our 27 commits right now. It's Matt Patricia. That's who they talk about. So, yeah, it's definitely got to be leaning in the right directions. I love Ryan Day doing this. You know, the first time this has ever happened in college football, 2 ex-NFL head coaches, both coordinators. So, right, I mean, Ohio State leading the front on the coaching chart. You know what I mean? We got like 12, 13, position group coaches this year. So, dude, the Buckeyes are pouring money into this coaching staff, absolutely pouring money into it. I mean, our offensive coordinator and special teams coordinator aren't even allowed to go on the road and recruit. Not that they need to, but I'm just saying he's taking advantage of that NCAA rule. Just hired a, tight ends assistant coach. So I'm loving what Ryan Day's doing. You know what I mean? He's leading the charge on this and using things he sees from other teams. Went and got, we lost 7,000 snaps of football in the portal and 31 scholarship players. We gained 14,000 from 17 players, 14,000 snaps. You know what I mean? Yeah. He saw the year before what the Buckeyes did, what he himself did, saw the maturity of his team. That won him a national title. He watched Indiana do it this year. He did it again this year. So I'm not sure what else, as Buckeye fans, we can ask from Ryan Day other than some red zone things and some pace of play things. You know what I'm saying? Like, he makes changes when he sees issues.
Absolutely.
Well, we can't argue that.
I think he's the perfect coach for us because he recognizes it. I mean, it might have took him a little long to recognize the Jay Fielding thing, but he still recognized it and went out of his way to fix special teams. So that's all you can ask for out of a coach.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't miss Jaden Fielding. I promise you, I would have put Brandon Ennis to kick all our field goals at the Miami game and the Indiana game.
He probably could have too.
Guarantee it. Brandon Ennis can play quarterback if he wants. I guarantee you've done it. Anyway, Melo, appreciate you for joining the show tonight, bro. Definitely get you back on here as soon as your work schedule allows it. Everybody, absolutely. I apologize for the Kellen Weimer mishap tonight. We'll try to get that rescheduled. Do not forget, Zion Grady's coming on tomorrow. I really need you guys. Text your friends, text your buddies, get your family in. Please be in the chat. Show him some love. Show him some support. Should be a great show. Melo, any final words before I get us out of here?
Man, I'm definitely excited to see what Ziggy's going to do this season, what the rest of our 25 DN class is going to do. I think we're going to be fine, man. I really do. I think we're going to be really good.
Dude, I almost forgot super chats for 2 shows in a row. Thank you so much, Liz. Steely, thanks for the $1.99. Mello, the man, the myth, the legend. Yes, sir, dude.
Shout out my boy Steely.
It took like a solid 6 months of you. Thanks, Steely. Texted me 2 super chats. Dude, I'm sorry, guys. 2 shows in one day. It gets to me. But what was I just saying? People still get in the chat and be like, hey, man, where's Melo? I'm like, Melo ain't been on here in 6 months, man. People are still asking about it.
Man, I feel the love. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I meant to play our first intro video. I meant to play that because you were coming on the line. I forgot. B. Moses, he just made me that new one just a minute ago. But you already know. You're welcome on here whenever. You just let me know when you're coming on. You on here. Steely, thanks for the $1.99 again. Nice hat, Mello, the GOAT.
That's not the hat I
Steelers.
wanted. I couldn't find my OHIO
Nah.
hat. I don't know where it is. I've been traveling too much. I hope I didn't leave it somewhere.
Bro, I don't know if you've seen all my new hats, but I have just an absolute.
So I have one
too
where
big.
they do the OH across the front. They have
Really?
humans that do it. Yeah.
I think this might be my favorite one. I don't know if you've seen this one or
No, I
not.
saw
but
that
think
one.
this.
You got that before.
Okay,
I
yeah.
left.
Okay, I can't remember, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
this is my favorite one. But here we
Because
go.
I
Steely,
wanted to get that one, and then you wore it. I was like, oh, I can't get it now.
Steely, thanks for the $1.99 again. We've missed you, Melo. So good to see you. Appreciate you, Steely, for the super chats. Appreciate you guys in the chat as always. All right, Melo. Now, final words. Now,
Man, I appreciate Buckeye Boys. Keep supporting the channel, man. I love what you're doing with it, Dev. Man, keep doing your thing. I appreciate you having me on again. And shout out to the Scoop family.
no doubt, man. Buckeye Nation, appreciate you guys. Hit that like button on the way out, the subscribe button as well on both channels. Appreciate the super chats. Appreciate the love. We'll catch y'all next time tomorrow with Zion Grady. God bless y'all. Go Buckeyes. OH.
Ayo.